Harassment methods. Overview of harassment methods used by FBI's COINTELPRO Operation Gladio. Covert community recruits and stay-behind armies, or instruction manual for community gang stalkers. From Chapter 18, Instruction Manual with Harassment Methods for Community Gang Stalkers, Undercover Community-Based Agents. Gang stalking is a covert counterintelligence operation to deprive and isolate the victim for climate control, to stage a synthetic psychological collapse for trafficking or exploitation, to stage a synthetic suicide programming for eugenics, to deprive the victim of any peace and justice for social injustice, forced oppression, also known as slavery. Welcome back to the program, everybody. Welcome back to another show. Welcome back to another episode. Good morning or good afternoon to all of my viewers, listeners, and Soul Tribe family. The name of this program is called It's a Conspiracy, But It Ain't No Theory. It's a Conspiracy, But It Ain't No Theory is a nonprofit social service agency suicide prevention campaign servicing the needs of families and foster children at risk. Lending my voice to help raise awareness by soft publishing a book trilogy called Lucy's Lair. Lucy's Lair is a graphic novel based on true events following my life as a freelance artist. This program is intended to help encourage, heal, and empower survivors of cancel culture and rape culture, providing free information and evidence regarding child abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, electronic harassment, gang stalking, conspiracy, and true organized hate crimes against humanity, collective and covert. Your company can help by providing funds in a grant or by donating goods and services as I continue delivering this information and evidence to the general public and advocating for foster children in need. Thank you in advance for all of your support. On today's episode, I am going to be discussing gang stalking, occult ritual stalking, community harassment with malicious intent, hypersimulation theory, covert psychological operations, plus surviving the New World Order, surviving the New World Disorder per usual, surviving manufactured chaos, surviving manufactured karma, and surviving the electronic targeting Holocaust. My name is Adrienne Alese. I am the author and creator of a book trilogy called Lucy's Lair. Lucy's Lair is a book trilogy reflecting my life as a survivor of rape culture, child sex trafficking, and psychological gas chambers. On this program, I advocate for women's rights, basic human rights, and the rights of those disabled. I also advocate on behalf of the foster children in the CPS system, orphans, single mothers, foster mothers, and those less fortunate. Targeted individual or trafficked victims are predominantly women. 65 to 70% of targeted individuals are white American women or those who identify as such. This makes gang stalking an illegal operation or a hate crime that is sexually and politically motivated towards American women and their children. This program is a dedication to the targeted individual community. The objective of the opposition or the counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO 2.0, is to subvert all of the target's potential, to terminate and to punish all supporters and sympathizers, to round down the target's output and audience, to marginalize the target, to eliminate connections and networking ability. Project Monarch programming refers to a conspiracy theory claiming that the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, developed a covert trauma-based mind control program. The conspiracy alleges that this program was an offshoot of the real and now widely known CIA project called MKUltra, which sought to develop techniques for interrogation and mind control. Allegations of Monarch programming. Advocates of the Monarch conspiracy theory claim that it used systemic torture and abuse to intentionally cause extreme trauma to subjects, forcing their minds to disassociate and create alter egos or manipulate multiple personalities. These personas could then be, quote, programmed. According to the theory, these alters could then be, quote, programmed using symbols and specific triggers, also known as anchors, to carry out a range of clandestine operations such as assassination, sex slavery, and intelligence gathering. Appendix 1. Keywords and phrases taken directly from this manual. Appendix 2. Key terms from Rich's, quote, New World War, revolutionary methods for political control. Electronic targeted killing, ETK comment. Note that the terms, definitions, military documents, laws, and patents provided by Rich prove the existence of this operation, described in Kilde's, quote, manual. Appendix 3, European Parliament Resolution on Operation Gladio. Appendix 4, From Total Individual Control, Technology by Omniscience. All right, so the entire operation is staged in a way so that the target will not have a home and will be forced into impoverishment and will be forced to be homeless. So in any case, that is how they're able to stage a synthetic psychological collapse, because it's depriving the target of its right to own property, to rent a home, to socialize, and just its right to life, okay, and in general. So the only way that the operation thrives is by depriving the target of a home, proper clothing, adequate food, shelter, etc. Because otherwise, this whole I'm better than you and that's why you should commit suicide, it doesn't work. It doesn't fly. So in any case, Part 8, Target's Home. Punishing the target at the target's home is essential for effectiveness of Secret Service operations. If the target were punished in the community but was allowed sanctuary in their home, the creation of a, quote, prison without walls would not be complete. One of the very first things the Control Center CC will arrange is for homes or apartments adjacent to the target's home to be occupied by both community-based agents, CBAs, and members in the Electronic Operations Manual. Because operations are carried out 24/7 in shifts, homes and apartments which are leased or owned by staff are not used as dwellings. The lease or deed will bear either an entirely false name or the name of a senior staff member whose actual home will be at a different location. So when you hear artists like Tupac rapping about in his songs how people are starving and homeless, but there's rich folks, wealthy individuals that own mansions and more than one home even. This is what he's referring to. It doesn't make any sense for there to be homeless people. In the family alone, there are individuals with space in their homes that they could be offering up as a way to help. So it doesn't make any sense to me at all how there can be Christians in the family alone that go to church every week, and they're not doing the Lord's work. You know, they claim to be a Christian, and yet they have homeless children they don't care about. Or a baby sister that they don't care about, is what I mean. But these are Christians. I thought these were Christians, and not only are they Christians, but it's quite literally, if they work for the church, it's their job to be helping impoverished people. That's why they get grants. So why aren't they doing what they're supposed to be doing according to their own beliefs? And so they are not real Christians. It's very apparent to me. It's a class war. It's classism. It's discrimination. It's rules for thee, but not for me. And so since they are not real Christians, especially the ones that actually work for the church, since they are not real Christians, they're just helping other people in this cult, they're not going to heaven. So in any case, they're not actually doing anything. It's all for show because they're narcissists. And I guess they think they're smart enough to game or play God. Some adjacent homes or apartments are occupied by neighbors of the target who have offered to cooperate in punishment of the target. The initial contact of neighbors to determine their willingness to cooperate is done by senior staff, and incentives to cooperate are often tendered. Here are some commonly used punishment activities which are carried out both by CBAs and cooperating neighbors of the target. Activities are rotated among the choices, but at least one of them are applied daily. Noise. Noise must be the type which the general public deems, quote, normal. Remember that the goal is to have the target aware that they are being punished, but not be able to convince anyone else that that is the case. Observe local noise curfews, but plenty of punishment can occur outside noise curfew times. The target must not have easy cause to involve local law enforcement. Examples: start leaf blower times precisely when the target attempts to enjoy their yard, or when electronic corp operators cue the CBA, community-based agent, that the target is trying to nap. Loud music from neighboring home. This is an excellent action, as it is common. Time it so every time the target opens a window, the music starts. The timing makes the point. It is intentional punishment. Electronic corp operators can apply music in adjacent apartments with exceptionally powerful bass directed at the target's unit. Frequent squealing of tires near target's home. In apartments, frequent drilling into a scrape of wood or masonry held against the target's wall, floors, or ceilings as if, quote, working. Alternatively, hammering, especially effective when cued by electronic corp operators that the target is attempting to nap. So this is to cause sleep deprivation so that you'll snap. Tossing golf or tennis balls against the target's home when the target is known to be trying to fall asleep. Ideal for cooperating neighborhood children. Frequent use of sirens near the target's home. Many emergency services employees have a strong sense of community service and willingness to cooperate in this, or by people posing as Jehovah's Witnesses. Knocking on the door for frivolous, nonsensical, wrong address reasons, especially effective when the target is in bed, asleep, or having a meal. Trash. Leave trash in the target's yard. Frequently. But CC staff will assist in scheduling this so that the target can't quite have a case on which law enforcement will act. Store management will be prompted to tell employees to take the trash out as soon as the target arrives, repeatedly. Terrifying the target's pet. This requires entry while the target is away from home for an extended period and must be scheduled by Control Center CC. Electronic Corp's EC operators can render a dog or cat passive for safe entry of the community-based agents by electromagnetic beam. Wounding or killing the target's pet, rarely used, scheduled when the target has acted in a way so as to deserve special punishment, like divulging the name of a criminally acting secret agent. Killing domestic animals or wildlife and leaving them on the target's doorstep. Scheduled when the target has acted in a way so as to deserve special punishment. Where the target owns substantial land, noxious activities can be arranged and built for next to the property. In one case, a dump, an auto race track, and a prison were built adjacent to a target who owned a large farm in an area of natural beauty. While this is rare, it does illustrate commitment to delivering punishment to those, quote, deserving of it. Cooperating police departments can visibly watch the target's home, possibly being parked in front of the home when the target returns repeatedly. Police officers who simply refuse to take complaint of harassment and sabotage of the target, who they label, quote, disturbed. This is called projecting, by the way. When they're the ones that are sadistic and they're trying to call you disturbed or crazy, this is called projection. It's dark psychology. Police officers who refuse to take complaint of harassment and sabotage of the target, who they label, quote, disturbed, really are not allowed to make diagnosis, as only medical doctors can do. And then again, it's still just an opinion, not a fact of life. But many officers, corrupt police officials, may get a raised price for their unlawfulness afterwards. Police follow orders by the Stay Behind, secret military-led organization created by the CIA after World War II in NATO countries. They give orders in secrecy to police, media, legal systems, and judges, etc., thus being above parliaments and governments as demonstrated. So it's rules for thee, but not for me. These are quite literally individuals who have a license to kill. For example, in Norway, when in 1957 the chief of, quote, Stay Behind gave the security code of Norway to M16 British intelligence in the UK acting on his own. Quote, we have to trust our allies, he said. Today, the security code of Norway is kept in Wales. Originally, Stay Behind was created with good intentions to fight communism. Today, it is out of control, and a new, much bigger Stay Behind 2 is active in Norway. The Stay Behind logo resembles the NATO logo. I've given examples of this on my YouTube channel. You can go ahead and watch older videos of that if you're interested. In Italy, Stay Behind was called Gladio 2 and dealt with terrorism secretly in Western Europe. It was responsible, for example, for the kidnapping and killing of Prime Minister Aldo Moro in 1978, while the blame was pinned on the Red Brigade. Today, enemies are communists, and NATO is the opposition. On November 22nd, 1990, the European Union forbade Operation Gladio, but although Norway follows most EU decisions, this one is omitted. Italy and Belgium had terror actions by Stay Behind, and when the organizations ceased to exist, the terror operations also ceased to exist. So I'm a survivor of terrorist attacks every single day. In Norway, Stay Behind is called E14. What was its role in Norway's terror actions, if any? Some have tried to get control of Norwegian Stay Behind armies already years ago. Who are the backmen giving orders to those, quote, officially in charge? The late chief medical officer of northern Finland and targeted individual, Dr. Ronnie Lena Lukanen, killed. So in any case, thanks so much for joining me on today's episode of It's a Conspiracy, but It Ain't No Theory. For the record, and to the best of my knowledge, I have been on the CIA's hit list for an electronic targeting homicide and Holocaust officially since October 31st, 2019, Halloween, after the tattoo shop I frequent was broken into and my son's name was tagged on the inside of the tattoo shop window. It is apparent to me that I am the victim of organized crime. After the death of Jerron's baby cousin, Jennifer Alfaisa, who was 25 years old, on August 1st, 2021, approximately a week and a half after my cell phone alerted me that hackers were tracking me, I started this channel in fear for my life when I tried to file in court for domestic servitude and was denied access to the law library. My safety is jeopardized. None of this is for attention. I am not crazy, nor do I have a habit of telling lies. So far, I haven't made a single penny doing the Lord's work and speaking the gospel truth here on this program, delivering words of encouragement and true news, not fake news. Generally, I don't make any friends discussing deep-seated underlying political issues such as rape culture. Quite the contrary. I have lost my home, my family, my friends, my career as a model, my reputation, health, and I am forced to flee from this cult of deadly mobsters daily. I have been forced into impoverishment, and even though I am homeless, none of my family, my parents, have not asked me or called to see how I'm doing, not even once. Instead, they prefer to victim blame, to gaslight, and to argue. This is the reason for my crisis. My life should be so much different than it currently is. It should be the exact opposite. I should have been married, a married homeowner with foster children of my own by now, settled into a community and church. I am currently being oppressed as my constitutional rights are being violated daily, and I'm deprived of my right to life. So, if you wouldn't mind, if you appreciate the truth and the work I do here on my program, please like, share, comment, subscribe, tip, or donate today. Every penny helps me to regain my social support, reputation, and independence. I don't smoke or drink, so no money is wasted. Thank you. Social engineering is a crime against humanity. Exploitation of illusory explanations to conceal directed energy crimes. This is social engineering. Cut your shower short to conserve our water. I'm so proud of my conservative efforts. So the fact that I am cutting my shower short conserves energy, water resources. The fact that I walk and I don't drive, same exact situation. I'm doing more for the climate than these so-called environmentalists. Charlie Kirk was shot for expressing himself politically. These are cover stories to conceal directed energy crimes, which is electronic targeted killings, an electronic targeting holocaust. So anyways, those stories that the media sells, it's out for sensationalism. And so all of this conspiracy, organized hate crimes, it's all sensational. What do I always say about the truth? 3 main things about the truth. The truth never wavers. You never have to worry about remembering the truth because, like I said, it never wavers, it never changes. And the truth always prevails.